Just as they had expected, the driver had left the door open so that he could carry in the boxes. When he turned his back, the gang hurried across the street. Martha and Brains crept into the auction house, while the others stayed out on the pavement to keep watch. As soon as Martha and Brains had got inside, they went directly to the jewellery department, where the display cabinet with the Russian earrings was situated. The building workers were drilling holes for the electric wiring in the adjacent room, and the spotlight above the display cabinet hadn't yet been installed. But that didn't matter. The famous blue and pink diamond earrings were already lying on their black velvet cloth, ready for the weekend viewing. Martha gave Brains a nudge in his side. "Now!" "Yeah, damn it. One drill, more or less," muttered Brains, and drew his power drill from his hip as fast as if it had been a pistol. And while the building workers were busy with their drilling, he used a hole saw attachment to make an opening in the side of the cabinet, with Martha acting as cover as best she could. Then, when he'd got through the wall, he pried out the plug and made room for Martha. With the speed of a weasel, she stuck her fingers into the hole, got hold of the earrings and carefully slipped them out, after which she let them drop into her plastered arm, in which lay the plastic bag with the ready-mixed plaster. With her sharp hatpin, she punctured the bag and let the white mixture ooze over the jewels until these were no longer visible. Meanwhile, Brains put the plug back in the hole in the cabinet, rubbed some dark brown pigment powder around the edges, and put his drill back in its place by his hip. Then he punctured his own plastic bag, and the loose, ready-mixed plaster slowly spread over his power drill until it was completely covered. Brains and Martha looked at one another. A few more minutes and the plaster would have set. Then nobody should be able to find anything. "Stop there! You're not allowed in here!" a stern voice behind them suddenly proclaimed, and Martha twisted round. An employee in a white coat was waving her arms in irritation. "Oh, goodness me," said Martha, giving the woman her most ingratiating smile while fishing out the auction house's autumn programme from her pocket. She read aloud, "Classic auction opens on Saturday the 3rd of December. That's right, isn't it?" "Yes, but today's Friday, so if you'd be so kind as to—" The woman lifted her hand to direct them towards the exit. "Oh, I'm so sorry, Tut. I'm always getting the day wrong. It isn't always so easy to see that it's closed when you can walk straight in. But no problem, we'll come back tomorrow," said Martha courteously, linking arms with Brains and walking towards the door. But just as they were about to step out onto the pavement, police sirens could be heard, and a police car came to a sudden halt right in front of them. 2 police officers with protective helmets and batons jumped out. "Bloody hell, they must have had a silent alarm," Brains muttered, as he felt a snare being pulled around his neck. Martha saw how scared he had become and squeezed his hand. "Prevention is better than a cure. We'll manage this," she said, and walked up to the uniformed police with a smile on her face. "We just came out of the exhibition halls, so perhaps you'd like to search me and my bag before I move on," said Martha, waving her arm in its sling and opening the front of her mink coat to show her belt bag. At the same time, Brains held his hands up over his head as if he'd been threatened with a gun. But the police officer just waved them away. "Get out of the way, we must get in, the alarm's gone off." In the Kungsholmen residential district in the centre of Stockholm, spirits were high in the 5-room flat where the League of Pensioners lived. There was plenty of jolly giggling while Martha and Brains relieved themselves of the plaster casts. But before they did that, everybody had to sign their name in different colours on the white